Hello, y'all know what time it is now. It's Quora question time. Looks like we'll have time for maybe a 10 to 15 minute video. It's gonna be a very short video, but yeah, that night traffic got me. So I'm gonna do what work what we have here. Alright, let's get started. So it says, I was invited for a second interview. I'm confused as to why, because the same people, and it's loading, because the same people will be there. What more can they ask? What does it mean if you're invited for a second interview with the same people? Now, before we have to look at their response, sometimes they just want to see like maybe there were some questions and concerns that they presented to the higher ups during the interview. So then they presented the interview to the higher ups, and the higher ups reviewed it and said, okay, second interview, send them a second interview, but ask them this. And so that's how it is. It's just sometimes also it could be like another test right there. Oh, you were on time to your first interview. Will you be on time for your second interview? So it's a different, several different things that they can gauge you. But let's see what this person says. Well, usually that's what you want to happen. A second interview means whoever interviewed you the first time really liked you and thinks you're a good fit. So now you'll be doing a follow up with him and probably his supervisor or boss. It was good, my friend. Good luck. Source, own a restaurant. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. What practices used to be very common until one person ruined it for everyone? As a hiring manager, what do you think of people that go to coding camps but don't have a CS degree? Can you realistically buy one house, rent it out, and take out mortgages on it, buy another house, and so on, renting out each house? Why are some Uber drivers so rude? Those who work in retail, has customers ever raised red flags by the items they were buying? What is going on when someone claiming to be the new owner of my house, I'm the owner and never sold, is claiming to I have 30 days to move out? Wow. Why should you stick to your job and never start a business? What is something you will never buy again after finding out how it's made? What have wealthy people learned that non-wealthy counterparts still don't get? Let me see what else we have here. What can I do if a car dealership is holding my license to pressure me to, oh my goodness. Do firefighters really let's read this. I said let's read this because I think you since they're technically like stealing your license, so I would probably get the police involved or something. I had this happen to me. They were stalling and waiting for me to commit to purchasing a car. I picked up my phone and the salesman asked me if I was calling my husband. I said no, the police. You stolen my driver's license. My license was returned quickly. Yep, the same response I would have had. Do firefighters really eat the food people bring them? Employers, would you reject an otherwise perfectly good candidate because they wore sneakers to the interview? What happened when you moved into a house that was surrounded by HOA homes and yours wasn't one? Uh, People who are happy and have quit their 9 to 5. How did you do it? Um, let's hear this experience right here. This one I'm on getting insights on this one right here. I have worked in the financial industry since my early 20s. Technically, work there is more like 8 to 7, except a few odd rules which require more hours. I never worked those hours though. Why? Limiting yourself to just that time seems odd. Why go to work at a time when everyone else is going? That seems very inefficient. Exactly, exactly. That's why I always like picking like odd shifts. I was like, why would I like this example? So why would I? That's why I like I like a 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. shift or 3:30 to 7:30 p.m. shift. Something like that. Some odd hours like that. 8 hours spread out like that. So rather than 8, I would start at 6 or 10 and leave at 3 or anywhere after 9. I mean, who wants to be in traffic jam? It's one of the most inefficient times spent in life. Imagine for a second how it feels like to be in a traffic jam. I go crazy. Like after 10 minutes, I go back home. I barely ever drive a car. Wasted time. I wouldn't specifically focus on when to leave. I would focus on what can I do at work. And in the financial industry, even in dead-end jobs like cashier, back office support function, there's always work to do. So I would visually work on a problem, realize it's 9 p.m. and go home. Ah, because I focus my time on fixing issues and not which hours do I work. I eventually skipped the 9 to 5. Now, here's this thing about this. So if his job is like problem solving, like here, like the back end stuff, there's no like time frame. Like, you probably have 24/7 access to that database or something. So you can just work on that in the office and just buy your time and then just head on out. However, but if your job is like manual labor, oh, you better be there at 9 to 5 because you don't have that luxury like this person has. Um, you establish a name for yourself, and at that point, it doesn't matter anymore if you come in the office at 11 a.m., 2 p.m., or at 8 a.m. And also, you have to consider this as well. Um, if your boss is flexible, if they're like, hey, listen, you can come in whenever, you got to think about the situation. If you're afforded to come in the office and work at that anytime, you probably have access to some software or scheduling thing or something like that. But if they see you put in the extra time, you also consider as well your hourly. If you're hourly, you'll have to calculate your time. And if they need you to work the phones during like quote unquote business hours, then they'll need you during that part in the office. So you have to think. Each scenario is specific. This person had that out on this one because they didn't have to be like maybe answering phone calls at 8 p.m. at nighttime. They all they had to do was work with some back end job, maybe source some files or something like that. All right. So yeah, so once you establish your name and stuff, you get afforded that luxury right there. Furthermore, they don't question where you are. I don't book holidays. I simply go on holiday and take with me my laptop. Clients, coworkers, they have no idea where I might be. I might be in Spain, US, England. All they know is that when I say I'll be in office at Thursday, they know I'll be there. Yep. This simply means I travel continuously. I don't have to set alarms. I work when I want and where I want. Yep. I could never work a job with fixed hours. I remember when I was 15 years old and had fixed hours as an employee in the supermarket. Fixed, fixed. If they said I had to start at 6 p.m., I came in at 6:20 or 7. What? All my life has been yelling, you can't act like that. 2, oh, you work hard. 3, and no one bats an eye anymore. People shouting because they can't deal with the fact someone else acts different. Anyone who ever worked for me can start whenever they want, but I expect a whole lot more output work-wise and very little margin for error than most standard 9 to 5 teams, as I have this odd idea of if you're an employee wings, either flies or crash and burns. If they fly, they perform much better than ever before. People aren't meant for that 9 to 5 BS. Exactly. Like, just name your timing and keep it moving. Right. What made Target different from other stores? What is the internal culture like at Amazon? Um, I told my boss I'm drowning in work, and he said my tasks aren't that much and should be done in 4 hours. How do I tell him that hurt my feelings and he's completely wrong? Oh my goodness. What that we might close it out with that one. Why do you think millennials don't want construction jobs? What are some Chick-fil-A hacks? Okay, let's see. All right, let me see this one. This one might be a good one. All right. So this is when the boss hurt his feelings. All right. First off, please never tell your boss you hurt your feelings. You're not employed to be happy. You're paid to do a job. Some people love their job. Some hate it. Otherwise, you're mentally and or physically abused at work. Leave the feelings to your friends and family. Secondly, are you sure he's completely wrong, or are you sure you can't do them in 4 hours? That's an entirely different thing. This isn't to say you're not drowning in work. It's just bringing things into perspective. Maybe your boss can do it in 4 hours, but you aren't experienced enough to do so. If this is the case, tell him so. Hey, boss, I just want to circle back on our conversation. Right now, it takes me about 6 hours of uninterrupted time to complete each task. I'd like to schedule some time to chat with you and see what I can do to smooth my process out. Please let me know when you got some time to tag up. Thanks, me. Now, if you're sure no human being can do this during the time indicated, you will need to prove it. If you have other people on your team and do the same thing, ask them how they are accomplishing the task and how long it takes them. In your spare time, don't charge this. Make a very simple spreadsheet. Get everyone's total amount of time working and compute the average. If it is taking other people more than 4 hours, then reach out with this. Yep, you have evidence right there, pretty much. Um, hey boss, I just wanted to circle back to the conversation we had earlier and hope you can provide me with some guidance. Currently, it's taking me about 7 hours to do this amount of work. I've asked around to make sure I wasn't doing something wrong and found the average time to complete the task are about 6 hours and 15 minutes. If you've got some time to talk to the team about these tasks and how we can get our workload more streamlined, no, we would all appreciate it. Thanks, me. At the end of the day, you're going to want him to see it's impossible. Therefore, make sure it is actually impossible before going to him. I say this because some people work hard and not smart or are lazy. I've been in some offices where I'll do twice the amount of work as others because I know the subject matter and it was easy. Also worked distraction free as long as possible, taking small 10-minute breaks every hour until my projects were done. Some people took longer breaks and some just didn't know what they were doing, and I worked with them to get the process where it needed to be so they could be efficient. That got me promoted. Hope this helps. So that was really good. So you have to like provide some evidence that it's not gonna work. But that's all I wanted to talk about there. This is Miguel Porras saying adios.